Scandinavian Bhakti Sangam
This just sound we should respect very much. Just sound, and there are also these boxes that the just sound is sitting on. So that I request everyone to respect that and not use it as hanging bags and hanging clothes and bead bags and whatever. So the whole area should be respected as just sound. Thank you.
So, please bless me back to Madhavananda. I'm very embarrassed to sit in front of you and all the very senior, wonderful devotees. We're very fortunate to have association with so many senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada here. And mark my words, you'll value this very much later on in your life. It's not something we'll always have. So before we speak on Srimad Bhagavatam, my revered spiritual master instructed me that I should offer prayers to the Bhagavatam first. So please tolerate me. This takes about 5 minutes. If you know some of these verses, you can recite with me. Narayanam namaskrityam naramschaiva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam Vedi Ramayane Shaiva Purane Vadate Tata Adavante Cha Madhye Cha Hari Sarvatra Giyate Mukam Karodi Vachalam Vangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam. This is a traditional song that they sing in the villages of Orissa before they reach Srimad Bhagavatam. Paramananda he Madhava Padunda Luchi Makaranda Se Makaranda Panakoni Anande Bolo Hari Hari Harinka Name Vanda Vela Harikori Ve Chakadola Se Chakadolanka Paraye Manamora Hunirantare Manamo Nirantare Rahu Ha Krishna Boli Jiva Jao Ha Krishna Boli Jao Jiva Motiu Dada Dada Dava Motiu Dada Dada Dava Motiu Dada Dada Dharma Projita Kaita Vota Paramoni Matsvaram Satam Vedyam Vastavamastavasu Shivadam Tapachayam Mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamune Kute Kimva Parayishvara Sadhyo Hridyada Rudyate Chakati Vishu Shushu Vistakshana Nidamako Patalo Galitam Valam Shukamukharamita Gavasamyutam Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Mohuraho Rasika Bhuri Babuka Anarto Pasamam Sakshat Bhakti Yogam Abhoksaje Lokasya Janato Vidvams Chakre Satvata Samhitam Yasham Vaishyamanayam Krishna Parama Purushe Bhakti Rupadyate Pumsa Shoka Moha Vayapaha Srimad Bhagavatam Paramamalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramahamsamekam Amalam Gyanam Padam Giyate Tatra Gyana Vairagya Bhakti Sahitam Naiskanyam Avishkutam Tachchandvam Supaten Vacharana Pado Bhaktya Vimuchin Naraha Artoryam Brahmasutanam Bhardatarta Vininayaha Gayatri Vasharuposo Vedartha Paribhimitaha Sarva Vedanta Saramhi Srimad Bhagavatam Ishyate Tadrasamrita Chiptashanyam Yatra Svedvachi Kuchit Krishna Bhakti Rasa Swarup Shri Bhagavatam Tate Veda Shashhoite Paramamaha Shadi Veda Upanishade Jata Kichu Hoya Tara Arta Lena Vyasa Korila Sanshaya Jai Sutre Jairu Vishaya Vachana Bhagavate Sevu Shakani Vandana Jiverani Stara Lagi Sutra Koilo Gyasa Mayavadi Basha Shunile Hoya Sarvanasha Jaho Bhagavata Pada Vaishnavi Rastane Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya. Reading from Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, the king of all literatures, Canto 7, Chapter 14, Ideal Family Life. And today we're reading text number 9. Please repeat. Mrigoshta Karamarkaku. Mrigoshta Karamarkaku. Sarish Kaga Makshika. Sarish Kaga Makshika. Atmana Putravat Pashyat. Kaya Esam Antaram Kiyat. Others?
Nigastro Karamarkaku. Kalgo Karamakshika. Esham Antaram Kiya.
Any Matajis?
Nigastro Karamarkaku.
Mriga, deer. Utsriya, camels. Kara, asses. Marka, monkeys. Aku, mice. Sarishp, snakes. Kaga, birds. Makshikaha, flies. Atmanaha, of oneself. Putravat, like the sons. Pashyat, one should see. Tai, with those sons. Esham, of these animals. Antaram, difference. Kiyat, how little. Translation: one should treat animals such as deer, camels, asses, monkeys, mice, snakes, birds, and flies exactly like one's own son. How little difference there actually is, between children and these innocent animals. Please repeat. One should treat animals such as deer, camels, asses, monkeys, mice, snakes, birds, and flies. Exactly like one's own son. How little difference there actually is between children and these innocent animals. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. One who is in Krishna consciousness understands that there's no difference between the animals and the innocent children in one's home. Even in ordinary life, it is our practical experience that a household dog or cat is regarded on the same level as one's children without any envy. Like children, the unintelligent animals are also sons of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore a Krishna-conscious person, even though a householder, should not discriminate between children and poor animals. Unfortunately, modern society has devised many means for killing animals in different forms of life, For example, in the agricultural fields, there may be many mice, flies, and other creatures that disturb production. And sometimes they are killed by pesticides. In this verse, however, such killing is forbidden. Every living entity should be nourished by the food given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Human society should not consider itself the only enjoyer of all the properties of God. Rather, men should understand that all the other animals also have a claim to God's property. In this verse, even the snake is mentioned, indicating that a householder should not be envious even of a snake. If everyone is fully satisfied by eating food that is a gift from the Lord, why should there be envy between one living being and another? In modern days, people are very much inclined toward communistic ideas of society, but we do not think that there can be any better communistic idea than that which is explained in this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Even in the communistic countries, the poor animals are killed without consideration, although they also should have the right to take their allotted food with which to live. Gaura graganya gana gota guloruharam Gauranga gudatama gopyada kopa briksham Gopala gadarati yati singha gora Govinda deshikavaram satatam namami. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes it. Prati shloke prati akshre nanartakoi. In each and every verse of the Bhagavatam, in each and every syllable of the Bhagavatam, there's unlimited meaning. And to try to fully explain one verse, even Lord Ananta Sesh, with millions of hoods, for millions of years, he can't explain even one verse completely. So there are many different ways we could speak on this verse. I'm going to take one particular point, which alone we won't have time for this morning. Vedic culture is a culture which teaches us to not be selfish. We have a very difficult time understanding this culture. I heard something recently which I was very surprised to hear. But the tradition in Sweden, the common thing is that if some guest comes to your home, and you're sitting and talking with your friend, your guest, and then suddenly it's time for your meal, they'll commonly ask the guest, please go in the other room while I take my meal. That's a big shock. It's not Indian culture. Indian culture understands that Atiti Bhagavan, that person who comes unannounced to your house, we treat that person like we do the Lord. And we treat all living entities with respect because we see the Lord in the bodies of all living entities. Atmanam putravat pashyat. We see all living entities the same as we do our own children. People in the world today are very concerned that we give up sectarianism, that we give up divisions. And people think that global unity is a solution for things. That's a very big subject. I won't go into that, but if you study it, you can see that the so-called unity is actually destroying cultures. Really what it is they're exporting Mickey Mouse and Coca-Cola all over the world and destroying cultures, which destroys morality, which destroys families, and this is going on all over the world in the name of unity. But real unity we find in Vedic culture, Indian culture. To this day, I've been living in Orissa for the last 23 years. And to this day, in the small villages, it's common that the people, the first chapati that they cook of the day, the first bit of rice, they give that to the cow. And they'll save some chapatis for the dogs. They'll save some food for the hungry people. They'll put aside some, flour outside to feed the ants. They feed all the creatures because it's understood. If you're a grihasta, all these other creatures are also part of my family, and I should respect them. So as we were speaking the other day, the first day, there's 3 types of charity: Dehadoya, Manadoya, and Atmadoya. And each one of these is a very big subject, and each one of these is an important subject. Maharaj was speaking very nicely, Bhakti Raghava Maharaj, about the importance in Vedic culture of all 3 of these things, and the connection between all 3 of these things with Atmadoya. We may do some Dehadoya, or charity to the body, but that Dehadoya is also connected with Atmadoya. And we gave an example the first day how the Vedic literature suggests you plant trees, especially beside the road, and you dig wells. And that's a very nice, pious act, and by doing that you'll get some sukriti. But if one day some sadhu, some Vaishnava Mahatma comes, and he drinks from that well, or he sits under the shade of that tree, then you get a different kind of sukriti. You get bhakti unmukhi sukriti. So Vedic culture is a culture which teaches everybody to be respectful to everyone, in the hope that someday you may give some charity to a sadhu, to a Vaishnava sadhu, and then your bhakti vritti will begin. There's Manadoya, charity to the mind. We should open up schools. We should educate people. And in Vedic culture, once Srila Prabhupada was asked, which is better, the worshippers of Kali, a lot of them are not vegetarian, or the Christians? And Prabhupada said the worshippers of Kali. The devotees were surprised. How is that? Prabhupada said because they're within the Vedic pantheon, they're within the Vedic system. And if they have respect for Kali Mata, then by giving respect to her, they may read some of the books about her. They may read something about her husband, Mahadev Shivji. And then reading more books about him, they may read he's Vaishnavan Yata Shambhu. They may read how Kali is Vaishnavi Devi. And they're great devotees of Krishna. And so in that way, they may come to the point of reading something about the Supreme Lord. So there's something given for everyone in Vedic culture. And Vedic culture is that culture which is a culture of respect. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Deho Nata Jata Jata. We give respect to everyone. There's a science of respect, but we give respect according to their position. In Chaitanya Sikshamrita, it's a whole subject for another class. He gives 8 different reasons why we give respect. Nada Matara Maryada. We give respect to anyone who's a human being. But more than that, Sabhyatara Maryada, someone who's a cultured human being. More than that, to Vidya Maryada, someone who's educated. More than that, to Sadguna Maryada, someone who has good qualities. Excuse me, I missed one. Raja Maryada, someone who's a leader. And then more than Sadguna Maryada, we give respect to Varna Maryada, someone who's acting according to their Varna, and especially the Brahmins. More than that, Ashram Maryada, we give respect to persons who follow ashram. It's very, very rare, even in India today, to see brahmacharis and proper grihastas, and what to speak of sannyasis. But most of all, Bhaktivinoda says, lastly, we give respect to Bhakti Maryada, to someone who has devotion. And it may be a small child, it may be a housewife, it may be whatever. This is our culture of Daivi Varnashram, where we keep Krishna prominently in the center. So we give respect to all living entities. There's a very nice lecture Srila Prabhupada gave on Nectar of Devotion in Mumbai in 1973. I'd like to read you this excerpt from this. Prabhupada said, in this old age, we are wandering all over the world to see that let everyone become happy by Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada said, in this old age, we're wandering all over the world, wanting to see everyone happy by becoming Krishna conscious. He said, it's not that we love only our countrymen, only Hindus or Bengalis or Madrasis. No. We love everyone, even the animals. But because human beings can understand the Krishna philosophy, therefore we hold meetings of the human beings. We don't generally hold meetings of the dogs, or the class of the cows. But still, Prabhupada said, whenever we get an opportunity, we give protection to the animals. We give them prasadam. We do not prohibit if some animal comes to hear. Prabhupada said they also hear sometimes. Everyone can hear. Even if they don't understand what is Hare Krishna, if you chant loudly, even the ant and insect whose hearing will be delivered, because it is a spiritual vibration. Recently, in one of our publications, we translated an interesting verse from a rare book called the Subhashita Ratna Bandhagara. Very nice verse which illustrates the beauty of the same point of how Vedic culture can elevate even the smallest creatures. Asajjana sajjana sangi sangha kuroti dusadhyam apiha sadyam puspashrayach chambu shirodirudha papilaka chumbati chandra bimbam. The word papilaka means an ant. There's a similar word in the Oriya language. They call it pinpointing. Little ant, very insignificant creature. Asajjana sajjana sangi sangha. In association with broad-minded souls, with great persons, even that person who's an asajjana, who's a great rascal, karoti dusadyam apiha sadyam, he can achieve the impossible. Just like an ant, very insignificant creature. But an ant, that ant can touch the moon. If that ant is associating with a flower on the head of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva has the moon on his head. The ant is attached to a flower. Someone offers the flower to Lord Shiva, so that ant gets the opportunity to associate, to touch the moon. An impossible thing. This is Vedic culture. Durgata Gatana Vidacha. Krishna can make even the impossible possible. And he does this, Krishna Kripa Srimurti, through the medium of his devotees. And Srila Prabhupada says that whenever we get opportunity, we give protection to the animals. We give them prasadam. We do not prohibit if some animal comes to here. This is our culture. It's a really non-sectarian culture. It's a culture that reaches out to all living entities. A few years ago, we made an issue of our Krishna Katamrita magazine on the subject of Srimad Bhagavatam. And within that issue, we printed a story, along with a photo. I don't have a copy with me today. I'll show you. A very interesting story, which began, I think, in the year 2004. There's a famous and ancient temple, many ancient temples, in Bhubaneswar. There's one, the Kapaleshwar Mahadev Temple, Temple of Lord Shiva. And since, I don't know, for the last more than 30 years now, they've had a tradition. Every year in the month of March, usually around Gaura Purnima time, they have a 9-day recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, we found this article in the newspaper, in the Ria newspaper, and the article made a play on an interesting, famous Oriya saying, Sanda Sunichi Bhagavat. Sanda Sunichi Bhagavat means, Sanda means a bull. Sanda Sunichi Bhagavat, the bull who's hearing the Bhagavat. And it's a kind of joke. What's the value of a bull hearing the Bhagavatam? Right? But Srila Prabhupada, he says in this lecture, he says, we do